Every time you react emotionally, you surrender power. Not sometimes, not occasionally, every time. Reaction is surrender. When someone can trigger your anger, they control your behavior. When someone can provoke your defensiveness, they control your state. When someone can pull you into an argument, they control the frame. That's the truth. You think you're defending yourself. You think you're standing up for yourself. But in reality, you're handing over authority. Reaction is surrender. Look at arguments. Someone criticizes you. You interrupt. You raise your voice. You explain aggressively. In that moment, you are no longer strategic. You are emotional. And predictable people are controllable people. Say it again. Predictable people are controllable people. If I know exactly how you'll react, I can manipulate you. If I know what triggers you, I own leverage over you. You have a choice. You can continue reacting automatically. Or you can become unshakable. That's the key. Consider workplace criticism. Your boss questions your performance. Your coworker challenges your idea. Someone sends a passive-aggressive email. Most people react instantly. Defensiveness. Sarcasm. Long explanations. Explanation is exposure. Exposure invites more pressure. Reaction is surrender. The more you react, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the more you can be steered. Predictable people are controllable people. Now look at online comments. A stranger questions you, insults you, disagrees publicly, and you feel the urge to respond immediately. Why? Because ego feels threatened, and ego hates silence. But silence is strength. Silence breaks the pattern. Silence disrupts manipulation. Silence forces the other person to fill the space. You don't need their permission to stay calm. You don't need their approval to stay silent. You have a choice. Here's the shift. Reaction is automatic. Response is intentional. Reaction is fast. Response is controlled. Reaction is emotional. Response is strategic. That's the key. Anger is a power leak. Defensiveness is a power leak. Over-explaining is a power leak. Every emotional spike weakens your position. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. You are allowed to feel. You are not required to display. Reaction is surrender. So what do you do instead? First, pause. When triggered, create delay. 5 seconds. 1 breath. 1 moment of silence. Delay interrupts impulse. Second, lower your tone. Emotion raises volume. Control lowers it. The calmer voice always carries more authority. Third, say less. Short responses. Measured words. No justification. Silence is strength. When you refuse to react, something powerful happens. You regain control of the frame. The emotional person looks unstable. The calm person looks dominant. That's reality. You have a choice. In every interaction, ask yourself, am I reacting, or am I choosing? That question alone builds awareness. Because awareness precedes control, reaction is surrender. And surrender becomes habit if you don't stop it. This is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming disciplined. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about mastering expression. Predictable people are controllable people. When you stop reacting, you become unreadable. When you become unreadable, you become powerful. Silence is strength. Remember that. The person who controls their emotions controls the interaction. The person who controls the interaction controls outcomes. This is the foundation. Before you master silence, before you master detachment, before you master response, you must first understand this. Reaction is surrender. You've seen how emotional reactions leak power. Now it's time to understand the deeper advantage behind control. Calm people always win. Not sometimes. Not occasionally. Always. Calm is control. The first lesson to understand is this. Emotions are weapons, for others. Your anger, your frustration, your impulsive reactions, they are tools that other people can use against you. When you let them drive your behavior, you surrender power. That's the reality. You have a choice. You can continue letting every slight, insult, or challenge dictate your state. Or you can take control. That's the key. Look at negotiations. Someone tries to pressure you. They shout. They threaten. They use manipulation. Most people react instantly. They argue. They justify. They plead. They are emotional. They are predictable. And they are losing before the discussion even begins. Calm people. Different story. They listen. They observe. They respond intentionally. Calm is control. Control creates clarity. In relationships, the same rule applies. Your partner, your friend, your colleague triggers you. Most people react immediately. They lash out. They defend. They over-explain. The relationship spirals. Tension escalates. The emotional person creates instability. The calm person observes, pauses, chooses action. They don't absorb the trigger. They don't surrender their emotional power. Control expands strategy. Reactivity shortens vision. Think about high-pressure situations. A parent managing a crisis. A leader facing an unexpected loss. A business deal on the edge. Emotional people panic. They make mistakes. They burn energy. Controlled people assess. They plan. They respond strategically. They win not because they are lucky, but because they are disciplined. That's the lesson. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about choosing when and how to express it. It's not about weakness. It's about discipline. You have a choice. Detach from ego. Detach from the need to prove yourself. Detach from the compulsion to react instantly. Respond based on standards, not feelings. Reacting is instant. Responding is intentional. Calm is control. Control creates clarity. Clarity fuels results. Every time you pause, you regain authority. Every time you hold your tongue, you gain respect. Every time you detach from ego, you reclaim energy. Let's be clear. Emotional discipline is not easy. Your brain wants drama. Your ego wants validation. Your instincts want immediate action. Fight them. Train them. Outwork them. You have a choice. Every day. Every moment. Every interaction. It starts with awareness. Notice the trigger. Name it. Pause. Decide. Reaction or response. Repeat it to yourself. Calm is control. Control creates clarity. The person who masters emotional control navigates life strategically. The person who surrenders to emotion stumbles through chaos. It's not about feeling less. It's about acting more. It's not about being cold. It's about being unshakable. Here's the practical step. Identify your triggers. Before responding, take a slow breath. Ask yourself, does reacting serve me, or does responding serve me? Respond intentionally, not emotionally. That's the core practice. That's the discipline. That's how control becomes power. You mastered surrender in Chapter 1. Now you see why calm people win. You have the choice. The choice to observe. The choice to pause. The choice to respond intentionally. Master this, and you will see results compound. Your decisions improve. Your relationships strengthen. Your life moves forward strategically. You've learned the truth. Reaction is surrender. Calm is control. Control creates clarity. Now, let's apply this principle deeper. Because there is one more obstacle you must overcome before true mastery. Your ego is loud. Your ego is insistent. Your ego is relentless. And the ego wants one thing: to protect your image. To defend your worth. To prove you are right. But here's the truth. Strong people don't need defense. Strong people don't need validation. Strong people don't need to justify themselves. Ego reacts. Strength observes. Every time you over-explain, you expose weakness. Every time you argue to prove yourself, you surrender control. Every time you try to defend your identity, you let others dictate your energy. Explanation is exposure. Exposure invites judgment. Judgment steals power. You have a choice. You can let ego drive your behavior, or you can rise above it. That's the key. Look at criticism. Someone questions your idea. Someone doubts your skill. Someone challenges your authority. Most people react. They defend. They explain. They argue. Why? Ego thinks it must protect its image. Ego fears being seen as weak. Ego fears being wrong. But here's the secret. Your value is not in defense. Your value is in performance, discipline, and calm. Not in explanation. Not in validation. Let's be honest. Most reactions are ego-driven. They are attempts to prove worth, to gain approval, to maintain status. But that's a trap. It's a trap because others control the frame the moment you react. And predictable people are controllable people. You don't need their permission. Let people misunderstand you. Let people doubt you. Let people assume incorrectly. Their opinions don't dictate your standards. Their assumptions don't dictate your reality. Their judgment doesn't define you. You have a choice. Observe. Pause. Respond deliberately. Don't react emotionally. Don't over-explain. Respond from your principles, not from ego. Strength observes. Ego reacts. Say it again. Strength observes. Ego reacts. Consider disrespect. Someone interrupts you. Someone dismisses you. Someone acts condescending. The ego wants to explode. The ego wants to retaliate. The ego wants revenge. But discipline chooses differently. Pause. Breathe. Respond strategically, if at all. Your calmness becomes your power. Your silence becomes your authority. Your measured response becomes your influence. Ego reacts. Strength observes. You have a choice. That's the key. Now, look at disagreement. People will challenge your ideas. People will push back. People will assume they are right. Do you jump in to argue? Do you explain why you are correct? Or do you stay composed, confident in your own standards, and let results speak for themselves? Explanation is exposure. Exposure invites mistakes. Mistakes become leverage for others. Your silence and discipline protect you. They shield your energy. They amplify your authority. You don't need their permission. You don't need to justify. You don't need to defend. You don't need to explain. Ego reacts. Strength observes. That is the difference between the average person and the unshakable. Here's the practical method. Recognize when ego wants to defend. Pause before responding. Ask yourself, am I reacting to protect my image, or responding to maintain control? Respond from standards, not emotion. Repeat it daily. Every criticism, every slight, every disagreement. The person who reacts from ego will exhaust themselves. The person who observes and responds with composure builds authority. You have a choice. You don't need their permission. You don't need their approval. You don't need to justify who you are. Ego reacts. Strength observes. Explanation is exposure. Silence is protection. Master this, and you reclaim energy, respect, and strategic advantage. You mastered surrender in Chapter 1. You mastered calm in Chapter 2. Now you've mastered detachment from ego. Next, we apply this principle under pressure. Silence is more powerful than words. More powerful than arguments. More powerful than reaction. The quietest person in any room is the one holding authority. Why? Because silence shifts power. Reactivity creates noise. Noise signals vulnerability. Think about it. When you react quickly, when you argue, when you defend, you hand away control. You show emotion. You reveal your priorities. You signal what matters to you. And others use it. They exploit it. They predict you. Silence shifts power. You have a choice. You can keep explaining, reacting, defending. Or you can pause, observe, and reclaim control. That's the key. Look at conflict. Two people argue. Most people raise their voices. They over-explain. They make themselves predictable. The quiet person listens, watches, absorbs. They don't need to defend. They don't need to react. They gain insight while the other wastes energy. Let them talk. Notice how people reveal their weaknesses when you stay silent. They overshare. They expose assumptions. They panic under their own words. Silence is a magnifying glass. It amplifies truth. It unmasks motives. You have a choice. Next, think about negotiation. Someone pressures you, demands concessions, tries to provoke a reaction. Most people respond immediately. They argue. They make concessions too early. They give away leverage. The silent person waits, pauses, observes, speaks less, responds slower, chooses every word carefully. Control is in measured action, not impulsive speech. Quiet people move strategically. Even in confrontation, silence creates authority. It signals confidence. It signals self-control. It signals that you are not desperate for approval or agreement. Instruction. Speak slower. Say less. Respond minimally. Make every word count. Let silence do the work that noise cannot. Real-world example. A workplace meeting. Someone challenges your proposal. They interrupt. They speak over you. Most people panic. They argue. They justify. They try to win the point. The silent person pauses, breathes, chooses one calm statement. Observation over reaction. The room leans in. The pressure shifts. Control is silent. Noise loses influence. You have a choice. Silence is not passive. Silence is tactical. Silence is a weapon. When people react to your calm, they expose themselves. They reveal their weaknesses. They show what matters to them. You gain advantage without lifting a finger. Let them talk. Observe. Analyze. Act deliberately. Repetition matters. Silence shifts power. Let them talk. Quiet people move strategically. Even outside confrontation, silence improves your decision-making. Pausing before speaking reduces mistakes. Pausing before reacting prevents emotional leaks. Pausing before acting strengthens strategy. It's not about being quiet for the sake of it. It's about using silence as leverage. It's not about fear. It's about discipline. It's not about passivity. It's about mastery. You don't need to justify your thoughts. You don't need to prove your point. You don't need approval to hold your space. Silence creates authority. Silence creates respect. Silence creates control. Every time you resist the urge to react, you reclaim power. Every time you let others talk, you learn more. Every time you act deliberately instead of emotionally, you move closer to mastery. You have a choice. Every conversation, every confrontation, every interaction. Observe. Pause. Speak less. Respond strategically. Control your energy. Control the room. Control outcomes. You mastered surrender in Chapter 1. You mastered calm in Chapter 2. You mastered detachment from ego in Chapter 3. Now, you've mastered silence as a weapon. Next, we learn how to make discipline unstoppable. Nothing is personal. Say it again. Nothing is personal. This is not a cliché. It's the truth that separates reactors from the unshakable. Most triggers come from ego attachment. Your mind interprets challenges, criticism, and disruption as threats to your identity. That's the flaw. That's where most people lose control. You have a choice. You can take every word personally. Every action is an attack. Every inconvenience is injustice. Or you can detach. Observe. Respond strategically. Preserve your energy. Energy is currency. Every reaction costs it. Every overreaction wastes it. You cannot afford to spend your energy on things that don't matter. Think about it. Someone criticizes you at work. Most people react immediately. Defensiveness rises. Words spill out. Tone sharpens. Emotion leaks. Power is lost. But detachment changes the game. Pause. Observe. Separate the comment from your identity. The criticism is not you. It's a perspective. That's all. Nothing is personal. You have a choice. Detachment is not indifference. It's control. You are fully present, but not fully consumed. You participate without being enslaved by the emotion of the moment. Repetition matters. Nothing is personal. Energy is currency. Reaction is optional. Emotional investment in every situation drains you. It clouds judgment. It sabotages decisions. Think about relationships. Think about conflicts. Think about social media. Think about every situation that triggers you. You are not required to absorb it all. You are not required to fight every battle. You are not required to justify your existence or defend your choices constantly. Detach. Observe. Move strategically. You don't need permission to protect your mental space. You don't need approval to stay calm. You don't need anyone to validate your composure. You have a choice. This is a practice, a skill, a discipline. It does not come automatically. You must train your mind to pause. Train your mind to separate event from identity. Train your mind to see without absorbing. Instruction. In every interaction, ask yourself, is this personal? If yes, pause. If no, detach. Watch. Learn. Respond deliberately. Repetition reinforces mastery. Nothing is personal. Energy is currency. Reaction is optional. Think about your day. How much energy is wasted reacting? How many arguments escalated because someone took things personally? How many opportunities were lost because focus was drained on emotion instead of strategy? Detachment preserves focus. Detachment preserves clarity. Detachment preserves power. It does not make you weak. It makes you unshakable. It does not make you cold. It makes you strategic. You have a choice. Separate event from identity. Observe without absorbing. Respond when necessary. Silently when possible. Use energy wisely. Guard your mind. Protect your time. Real-world example. Someone insults your work online. Most people respond immediately. Emotion floods their posts. Energy dissipates. The detached person pauses. Breathes. Observes. Responds if necessary. The room shifts. Power remains. Energy is conserved. Detachment is freedom. It liberates you from unnecessary suffering. It allows long-term focus over short-term reaction. Every time you stop taking it personally, you win. Every time you pause before responding, you gain clarity. Every time you preserve your energy, you strengthen discipline. You mastered reaction in Chapter 1. You mastered emotional control in Chapter 2. You overcame ego in Chapter 3. You wielded silence in Chapter 4. Now, you master detachment. Remember the core reinforcement. Nothing is personal. Energy is currency. Reaction is optional. Use this principle relentlessly. Practice it daily. Train it like a muscle. Your mind is no longer a hostage to other people's behavior. Your energy is yours. Your focus is yours. Your power is yours. You have a choice. Use it. Detach. Observe. Dominate your life quietly, intentionally, relentlessly. Reaction is instant. Response is intentional. Reaction is weakness. Response is strength. Delay creates dominance. Say it again. Delay creates dominance. This is the skill that separates leaders from followers. This is the skill that makes people unshakable. You have a choice. When someone provokes you, when pressure mounts, when criticism comes, you can react, or you can respond. Reaction is immediate. Reaction is fueled by emotion. Reaction reveals your state. Reaction gives others leverage. Response is deliberate. Response is calm. Response maintains authority. Response builds influence. Let me break it down. Example. A colleague criticizes your work in a meeting. Most people explode. Tone rises. Words pour out. Energy leaks. Power lost. That's reaction. Predictable. Controllable. Weak. Now, imagine this. You pause. You take a breath. You assess. You reply clearly and strategically. Response. Intentional. Controlled. Power maintained. Dominance retained. Delay creates dominance. Repetition matters. Delay creates dominance. Delay creates dominance. This works everywhere. Leadership. Business. Parenting. Negotiation. Conflict. Pressure situations. Leaders are calm. Leaders listen. Leaders pause before replying. That pause communicates control. That pause communicates confidence. That pause communicates power. You have a choice. Reaction is emotion-led. Response is principle-led. Reaction solves nothing. Response solves strategy. Reaction wastes energy. Response conserves it. Controlled responses build reputation over time. Emotional reactions destroy it instantly. Instruction. Create space before speaking. Take a deep breath. Lower your voice. Slow your breathing. Think before you speak. Act before you escalate. It's a habit. It must be practiced. You will fail at first. You will want to react immediately. That is normal. You have a choice. Choose response. Choose dominance. Think about daily life. Social media outrage. Arguments. Workplace pressure. Criticism from peers. Most people react instantly. Most people escalate unnecessarily. Most people burn bridges. They waste energy and respect. Response flips the script. It keeps energy. It keeps focus. It keeps clarity. You stay strategic. You stay ahead. You stay untouchable. Remember the repetition phrases. Delay creates dominance. Consistency builds authority. Control equals power. These are not slogans. They are truths. Practice them in small moments first. Respond calmly to minor provocations. Notice the impact. Your mind grows stronger. Your reputation grows stronger. Your influence grows stronger. Real-world example. A CEO under attack in a meeting. Immediate reaction would be defensive, angry, argumentative. Predictable, weak. Delayed response. The CEO pauses. Assesses. Replies with clarity, authority, and precision. The room notices. Power shifts. Respect increases. Control maintained. That's dominance. Another example. Parenting. A child throws a tantrum. Immediate reaction. Yelling, scolding, emotional escalation. Predictable, reactive, intentional response. Calm voice, measured words, clear boundaries. Child observes authority, learns composure. Influence grows. Respect maintained. Your energy is your weapon. Your focus is your advantage. Your responses define your authority. Detachment, silence, emotional control, and now response, all tie together. You mastered reaction in earlier chapters. You practiced detachment. You wielded silence strategically. Now, You respond intentionally. Repetition. Delay creates dominance. Consistency builds authority. Control equals power. Say it with me. Say it again. Internalize it. The final reinforcement. You do not need to respond immediately. You do not need to escalate. You do not need anyone's permission to control your behavior. You have a choice. React and lose control. Respond and command it. Control equals power. Consistency builds authority. Delay creates dominance. Master this skill. Apply it relentlessly. Make it a habit. Make it your default. Make it your identity. You are no longer a reactor. You are a responder. You are no longer predictable. You are strategic. You are no longer reactive. You are disciplined. Control equals power. Control equals dominance. Control equals freedom. This is your final chapter. This is your final tool. Use it. Live it. Breathe it. Embed it. Respond. Don't react. Command your life. Influence your environment. Build authority quietly. You have a choice. Take it.